So what you're getting is the soul, and you're getting on the nefesh end, this is the physical part. On the neshama end is the spiritual part, and the ruach is in the middle. That's your breath. Ruach is breath or wind, right? Your life, your breath. So this is how the rabbis break it up. So it's interesting that in the prayer it says, "You shall return my neshama." If you remember in the Shema prayer, it uses nefesh, nafshi, nafshecha, right? With all my soul. So it doesn't use neshama in the Shema prayer, it uses nefesh. These are the nuances of Hebrew that, again, I say you ask God, because who as a human being really has a total answer for that? That's something to ask God. God, why is that? Like, what's the meaning? Because he uses two specific different words in different situations. So neshama, the idea is that when we sleep, and this is what the rabbis teach about dreams, is that literally the neshama of our soul, it goes and communes with God in the spiritual realm. It communes with the spirit. And so that's where when you get a spiritual dream, it's your neshama is interacting. And then that's the meaning of the Modeh Ani prayer, is you have returned in me my neshama. So when I go to sleep, my neshama, or at least part of my soul, kind of goes and communes with God while I'm sleeping. And that's where you get the passages, like even in the New Testament, where it says he sleeps, and they speak of death, right? To sleep means for your neshama to leave your body, your neshama to go and commune with God. So in a sense, it's a type or foreshadow of death. So every time you go to sleep, your neshama is going to commune with God. It's like you're dying a little, like in a symbolic sense. You're not literally dying, obviously, but your neshama is going in. And then when God returns your neshama to you, and remember, he's the self-existent one, so I depend on him for my existence. It's God's way of saying, you know what? I looked at it and I said, I want you to continue to live. I want you to continue to exist. So I returned your neshama. So it's saying, don't take for granted that God gave me another day of life. Because if God had chosen to, I could have died in my sleep, and then my neshama just would have stayed with him, and that would have been it. So God said, no, I'm returning your neshama to you. Every time you sleep, God makes a decision while you're asleep. Do I continue to give him life, or do I take him to heaven now? So this is the meaning in the Modeh Ani prayer. It's when you're saying, anyway, so nishmati, and it's got that ending, right? The E ending, like avi and avinu. So it's my soul, but it's really my neshama. So we're following the sentence. We said, I give thanks in your presence, King of life and existence. And then we said, Shehekazarta, who has returned in me my neshama. And then it's behemla. And be, remember, is your in. So in hemla. What is hemla? Hemla is, the rabbis talk about when Moses said, show me your glory. And in that passage, God passed before him, and the rabbis talk about 13 attributes of mercy that God showed in that passage to Moses. You get your hesed, we've talked about, I think, right? Hesed. You get your hanan, that should have an E in it. Right? Hanan is grace. You get your, what else? Your rahum, rahim, raham, I guess I should say, if I do it in Strong's default. So raham is the mother's womb. That's where that word comes from. It's another word for mercy, right? Hanan is the word we use, mercy or grace. Right? It's grace, so it's favor, right? And then you get hesed, which is the covenant love of God, and so on. So hemla fits in with these. And what hemla is it ties in with the theme of the whole prayer, because we're talking about the self-existent one has decided to continue to give me life. So what Hemla is something that's totally helpless, like if I had a pet animal or something in my care, or a plant, or it's the sense of I'm going to continue to allow that thing to exist. I'm going to nurture that thing. It's that emotion in me that says I want you to continue to exist. I'm going to care for you. I'm going to feed a baby. It's a type of mercy or compassion, but it's a type that is given 100%. The person doing the receiving is like totally helpless, a guy in a coma. It's a guy who can't respond. The person or the thing receiving it can't do anything to ask for it. It's just something I bestow just out of compassion to something totally helpless. So that's what Hemla is in Hebrew. So what it's saying is, in Hemla, you've returned to me my soul. So God has decided to return my soul while I was sleeping. I don't even have the opportunity to pray or to ask, or God give me mercy, God please give me another day of life. I don't have the ability to do anything. He's just deciding in Hemla, I'm going to restore without you even asking, you're the helpless guy in the coma, right? I can't, so I'm just going to do this for you. That's Hemla. So Nishmati be Hemla, and then you get Rabbah. So if I say in modern Hebrew, Todah, Todah is thank you. It's another form of Modeh. But if I say Todah Rabbah, thank you very much. Rabbah, so very much, right? And then Emunateha. Now you remember what Emunah is?
Emunah is faith.
That's right. It's faith. And so that's the root word we're dealing with here. And then you get that ending. It's similar to Ha. And it's, so you drop the H and you get Teha. And what that Teha ending is, it's just another form of Ha. So we haven't gotten into learning the details of that, but it's basically
in your faithfulness.
Your faith, your faithfulness, right? Great. It's great is your faithfulness, right? Now, interestingly enough, in the Hebrew, the word for faithful or faithfulness is simply faith. So you could literally translate it as great is your faith. So the idea in Hebrew is if your faith is perfect like God's, it results in faithful. And you can even kind of see the connection in English between the words. So in Hebrew concept, if I'm faithful to my wife, I'm faithful to whatever, it means that I have perfect faith in that area.
Emunah.
Emunah. So perfect result, perfect faith, or perfect agreement, you could say, right? So nothing double-minded, no ups and downs, like this, now I'm up, now I'm down, now I'm up, now I'm down. This could be what some people's faith looks like. But if you're God and you have perfect faith that never goes down and never has a dip, right? You're always at the high point. Your perfect, your great faith results in faithfulness. He's always going to act the same because he's always acting out of perfect faith. In other words, remember what faith is? Faith is amen.
Oh, yeah, of course.
It's agreement, right? So God has perfect agreement with himself. These are things we take for granted, but he's not like people in that way. We say God never changes. Well, God's never going to disagree with himself. And you say, why would someone disagree with himself? Well, I don't know, but I've known a lot of people that do it. Right? There's a lot of psychiatrists that make a lot of money off of people that disagree with themselves. You have that internal argument going on, that cognitive dissonance that makes you sick, right? So it's our lack of faith, our lack of agreement that causes us to act in unfaithful ways. If we had perfect faith, then our behavior would be consistent.